What's up?
Hello, boys.
quick end to the music. I love it. Pick6 Central Memorial Day weekend, Friday, May 24th. Myself, Ev, and Clemmer into get the weekend kicked off. In the world famous basement, as you can see. No pictures on the walls though.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't see any.
Yeah, can we get proof of that? Did you take them down? How do we?
No, they're just not. It's hard to fucking walk it through. I mean,
I will say I don't really see any pictures on the wall.
That's the thing. Yeah, it's the basement is done. We're waiting to see the decorations. We're trying to figure out exactly what's the last time they were up. They were all mismatched. Trying to get it a little organized. There will be pictures. I'll tell you what. The picture of me on the floor at the Final Four that won't need to be photoshopped. That'll be on there. Picture of me and Ev and Zach Gallen. That'll be hanging prominently down here. Happy Gallen Day to all. So there'll be some nice
run line.
Me and Jerome Tang. There'll be some cool pictures down here.
Are you going to put up the picture of the mopless picture, if you will?
Probably now. No, I don't think so. What's crazy? I see all the comparisons. Robbie did end up getting me the picture of me as the horse with the horse.
Okay. Oh yeah, that's right. For Christmas last year.
So I do have to put that up. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, exactly. But all right, let's start with the Celtics. Took care of business as they're supposed to with a big win, blowout win as we expected. Shake the game to curse, I want to say, or shake the game to like luster, from what they've been doing. You want to start with Jaylen Brown or you want to start with Halliburton being hurt? Because which one's a bigger story?
Halliburton being hurt is the biggest story. It affects game 3. I really interesting in the press conference after the game. Rick Carlisle said that his hamstring actually was hurting him at halftime. And they went out and he played on it anyway. So that tells me this wasn't just like a thing where he tweaked something. This was something that had been a problem potentially even before the game. And if that's the case, then this could be more serious than it even looked.
Well, he had a kind of a problem all year because even I noticed they showed they put the graphic like during the broadcast yesterday that it was like his numbers like pre-injury, post-injury. So it's been something that's kind of been lingering for him like all year. His production's been significantly less since it happened. I mean, if he has to miss time, I mean, listen, they already had no shot. We all know it. We can. I mean, but without him, they have like 0.0% chance. I mean, if he doesn't play game 3, like even listen, they've been great at home. They haven't lost a game in the playoffs at home yet. I don't see how they win without him.
No.
I mean, even at home, even as good as they've been, he just like even as good as McConnell's been too. Like in the minutes without him, he was like okay last night, but has been good in the playoffs. I just don't see how they have any sort of chance. I mean, they're fucked. They were already fucked. Now they're fucked.
I couldn't have jumped on that Celtics -7 fast enough because I don't think he's going to play. Now, that's not an indictment on the Pacers. I think the Pacers actually are very solid.
I think the Pacers are tough. I think if they're playing them 7 games, I think the Pacers are tough.
But without Halliburton, like what are we doing here? Like I said, like they're not just fucked; they're fucked.
Yeah. Jaylen Brown looks on the opposite side. Jaylen Brown looks unbelievable with the 40. Shout out to Hank. Hank, I saw this like 2 days ago or immediately when they did the all NBA teams. He's like,
it was yesterday.
Yesterday.
Or day before. 2 days ago.
2 days ago. Yeah. He's like immediately take his points, his 25.5 points or whatever it was. He was going to go berserk. So, which he did. I mean, he was the best player on the floor. Celtics really just took care of business. That's a win where you gotta win. You gotta win big. Never really in doubt. Start to finish. Not much. Just job well done to the Celtics as you're supposed to.
To Jaylen Brown, like I've never been the biggest Jaylen Brown guy. Sometimes he just kind of drives me crazy. His game can be a little bit inconsistent. He's making me like fall in love with him in these playoffs. He's been really good these playoffs. And it took me a while. I was a little cold on him at first because I'm just always am with him for some reason. And then it's just like, no, he's at times carrying this team.
100%. I mean, we said yesterday, I mean, who hit the big shot in game 1? Jaylen Brown. Last time, I mean, Tatum, it felt like didn't do. I mean, what do you have in the first half? Like 8 points?
4.
No, he had 8 like deep in the third quarter. He had like 8 points. I mean,
he had 4 in the first half.
He weirdly ended up with. It was one of those. Even when I looked at this, I was how did he had 23? Like it didn't. He kind of like he scored some late. It didn't feel like he had 23. But I mean, even like Drew Holiday's been unreal. He just does everything. Drew Holiday was the guy that stuck out to me. I mean, just like the one pass he made, the one where he kind of almost like jumped up and had a little bounce pass like right under the hoop. He's been unbelievable for them. I mean, it's just crazy. Like they're just so stacked. Like even when like Pritchard comes in the game, like he's just banging threes. Like they just have the deepest, best team on paper without question.
Yeah. So I guess the bigger discussion, because there's you could take what you take away from that game or whatever. Like it's a 16-point win in game 2 and Indiana's fucked. You can make what you can make out of that game. There's only so much to make out of that game. I guess the bigger discussion or the longer discussion is I'm kind of getting tired of people already taking things away from the Celtics. This narrative of like, well, they beat this team and then they beat this team, but that team sucks and the East sucks and it's an easy run and they haven't even hung a banner yet. Like it's not over. So this whole narrative, and now they're playing a banged up Pacers team, and the East sucks and they're doing this and they're doing that. Even if they go to the championship, they're going to be playing a 3 seed or a 5 seed, as if the West wasn't a fucking murderer's row of teams to get there. Like I'm kind of getting really tired of this Celtics narrative. You know what I mean? I think in sports, you play who you play. Like, what is there something I'm missing here? That why are we trying to discredit the Celtics so early in the postseason?
I mean, it's both can be true. Like, I think it's just a fact. Like, I understand like where yes, like it is, like it's discrediting them in some way, but it's just the truth. Like if you get to play the Heat without Jimmy Butler and you get to play the Cavs without Mitchell for like a few games in the series, without Allen for I think like the whole series or most of it, and then you get the Pacers and now like if Halliburton misses games, listen, they were up 2-0 regardless. They were going to win last night whether Halliburton was in or out. So I don't think it's not as much discrediting them. It's just the truth. Like they just had an easier. But if they win the finals, it won't matter. Like if
we were beating the Cavs with Mitchell. Like, and we were beating the Pacers with Halliburton. Like, it did. Like, if these guys are banged up, it's also kind of their fault for having to play 7-game series when we were able to just kind of cut through like soft butter. So
yeah. Miami without Butler too.
Yeah, no, the Heat were really undermanned, but that's also the benefit of having the number 1 seed. You should play the worst team by far. It's not like the Celtics had a horrible regular season record and have a soft road. They've been dominant since the season started. So, like, I don't really know what people want from this team beyond what they've done. All they do is win. It's like anyone doesn't like that. I mean, tough shit. Like, they're going to keep winning. So, sorry.
They got to win the finals. It's a team. And I've said it a bunch of times. It's more just they're a product of they've been close a bunch recently. So when you've made the conference finals multiple times with the same core, now it's like at least the third time this core, third or fourth that they made East Conference Finals.
Fourth.
I mean, yeah. It's 3 in a row. So I mean, at least. So I mean, no, it's just no one's gonna feel bad. Like it's at this point they're at. It's just either win the finals or you failed.
Right.
And that's high expectations, but that's what it is when you're a team that's this good and this deep, and a team that made it to a few finals in a row, conference finals in a row, was in the finals 2 years ago, was the favorite and lost, and then now they add Drew Holiday, they add Porzingis, like you have Pritchard's getting better, Derek White getting better, like you have all these guys. It's like no one's gonna feel sorry for you, like you're only gonna get nitpicked. That's just when you're the clear best team in the East or have been. And you've been there all those times, you're just going to get those expectations. That's just what comes with it.
I do think that's part of the story of them being so close 3 or 4 times now, where it's like they got to win. But if they got, so then why, if they got to win, why are we already taking it away? You know what I mean? Shouldn't you be celebrating that they got so close a bunch of times and this is their turn? All right, they did end up, hey, they broke through, they won. They're already trying to take it away. It's just an interesting dynamic.
But it's in other sports. Think about like Lamar Jackson. Like the Ravens, like he gets the same, and I know he gets like the individual, and I think he put him as kind of like the Tatum in this scenario, if you will. But like in other sports, the same shit happens when you just get like far a bunch. When you just like get to the conference championships and you get like you're the number 1 seed and you lose like in the second round of the playoffs like over and over where you're the best team in the regular season. It just happens all the time.
Yeah, but that's different.
The Niners. Look at the Niners.
But that's different.
Niners are they've been there a bunch and they just can't get over the hump.
But that's different. They're telling the Niners you have to win. Like they're telling the Niners, I'm waiting for the Niners to break through. It'd be great if the Niners broke through. Like maybe this is the year the Niners break through. The Celtics are breaking through and they're tearing the title down. Do you see that part of it? Like imagine if the 49ers
but they haven't beaten. But I'm saying they're not going to get that respect until they will get it in the finals. Like you're not going to get like they will earn if they get it in the finals. They will earn like the thing you said about like it's going to be like a 3 versus 5. I don't think anyone's going to care about that. And anyone who does say that, you're talking like an asshole.
All right,
like,
I have a question for you.
This Timberwolves team or beat this Mavs team, like I don't think anyone's going to be like, oh, like they won like a soft finals. Like
so, Ev, let's say it's same kind of situation. The Celtics say win game 1, but game 2, Kyrie goes down, and the Celtics win the finals. Is it like, oh, well, they only won because of this? I feel like they're trying to find any excuse they can. I know this is a big hypothetical, but I'm just trying to say, like, I feel like any chance, like Rico's one, every chance they can to tear it down, they're trying to find it. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, I mean, but I just think the first 2 series, I think it's just warranted. But like you said, they would have won regardless. Like I'm not saying like, and I think anyone who's even saying that would admit like that's what I'm saying. Like both can be true. They would have won whether Donovan Mitchell was healthy every game or he wasn't. So like it doesn't really matter. And this one, I think the same way. Like it doesn't matter whether Halliburton's there or not. Now in the finals, in the scenario you said, where say they had to play the Mavs and Kyrie got hurt, people would grab onto that. But at the end of the day, when you're holding the trophy, like it's like suck my dick.
Yeah,
right.
Like that's just that's loser talk at the end of the day.
Yeah. So it's just to me, it's a very interesting dynamic. Like we're watching a team potentially finally break through and they're already tearing it down. But I guess I get your point, Ev. Like both can be true. You know, they did have an easy path.
Are you guys on the Celtics -7 for Saturday night?
I would be, yeah.
Okay. I'd say I'm not going to lock myself in on that, but like probably right now, I probably would.
I already placed the bet. I'm locked in for that. I think that because I really don't think you're going to see Halliburton play.
Well, listen, the Celtics know what they're doing. They're a well-run organization. Look at this, and it's a different team, and it's a hometown bias. But the Knicks had the opportunity to close out that series in Game 3, relatively. Nobody has come back in basketball from a 3-0. Nembhard doesn't hit that. I think the first team meeting is Missoula being like, guys, look, they came out gassed up at home. The Knicks had a shot to win it. They end up losing the series. Like, I don't think we're going to lose the series. You know, it depends what guys want to hear. But I think the quicker you get it over, guys are interested in that too. So, like, you know what? Let's just fucking show up and win. Let's win. They're already down a guy. Don't have a bad first quarter where you're down 29-15. Don't allow them to, like, stick in it. Don't throw your shoes out on the court and think you can win. Show up, get it done, and we're going to be here for 4 days minimum. You know, the quickest amount possible. We're going to win. We'll have a day off. We'll play, depending on the breaks, however they do that shit. And then we're getting the hell out of here. And we're getting rest for the finals, and we're trying to win our first championship like we're supposed to. Let's get the hell out of here in Game 3. I don't think Indiana, if the Celtics have that mission where they're not just coming out there and throwing their sneakers on the floor, I think they cover big. So I don't know how you don't play the 7.5.
I also think they kind of got that like, oh shit moment out of the way in Game 1 and stole a win.
Yeah, right.
Like they got their scare. They like won. They got a scare and still won.
No,
so I think they're in a spot, like I said, going off the same narrative where like they've been close so many times. Like they should be the last team that's like counting their chickens before they hatch. The last team, like they should know better than that.
To the Pacers' credit, they haven't lost a game at home all playoffs. I think they're the last team in the NBA to do that. That's still left in the playoffs. So I guess I understand maybe that's why the line's a little smaller than I think, but I don't think that really matters, especially if Halliburton's out, and which we don't know yet, but it's an assumption.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd be laying the 7.5. That's the way I would go with that. In terms of tonight, how do you guys feel about the T-Wolves -5.5 against the Mavs? I think this is an over series. I'm going to play this over again.
I don't mind. The line's only 207.5. So
yeah,
I'm playing small.
It.
So
I'm playing it.
I don't mind that, Rico.
It's just, to me, it's a weird, like, how are the Timberwolves going to adjust? Because they just, as bad as the Mavs shot from 3, they just dominated in the paint. Like, they just got so many easy buckets, and, like, Lively was so good. And just Gobert kind of had to sit a lot, and they did like when Gobert was out, they were bad. Like I was looking at the set I saw was with Lively on the court for Dallas and Gobert off, they were plus like something big, like it was like 20, like something like that. And then when Gobert, Gobert, or excuse me, the Mavs were like when Gobert was off and Lively was on, like the Minnesota's minus like 15. Like they struggled, and I wonder how they're like with. But Naz Reid like played a lot and played well. They did play well. I just wonder how they're going to adjust to that. Where are they going to try to just like force Gobert out there because they need the rebound? They got rebounded too. They need the rebounding. They need just like the perimeter the interior defense. I kind of like the Timberwolves. I think the Timberwolves bounce back.
Yeah.
I mean, Ant didn't even play like that well. Cat shot really poorly. Like he didn't shoot well at all and had a lot of attempts. Like I think McDaniels really kind of like kept him in it early. And I wonder what they're gonna do with Ant, where like he played defense on Kyrie in the first half and got smoked. Like Kyrie, I was pretty surprised by that because Ant's been such a great defender, but Kyrie's Kyrie. When he's cooking, he's unreal. So really, to me, it's kind of like the chess match of like how do they adjust after like one game. But yeah, I like the Timberwolves. I think they bounce back. I saw a good stat too that it was like home teams that are favorites. Like when they lose the first game, it was like they covered like it was like 65%. In that game too, and then I think for like top 3 seeds, which they are, it was like 70 plus. I think that's like a good like long term trend. Like I think there's some stats like that are like don't mean much. I feel like that one's like significant.
I worry about the shot selection late, though. You know what I mean? That's what I like. Make sure you're taking good shots because they weren't in the stretch of game one.
Yeah, that's absolutely fair. And to Ev's point about like those teams having to win that game too. Like if you're the Timberwolves, you can't go down 0-2 and then go to Dallas. Like that can't happen. So they got to really throw out you have to throw out every single option you have, everything. This is almost like a game 7 or you're down 0-3 in my mind in a lot of ways. We throw everything but the kitchen sink at this team because you have to win this. You can't go down 0-2 and then get on the plane. Now, the Pacers, were able to come back from 0-2.
A little bit different. The Knicks were walking wounded. Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah, I just wonder like how they're gonna like you said, just kind of the chess moves they have. I mean, I wonder if they're gonna play, like I said, going off the Lively thing, how good they were with Lively. Like if he just ends up playing even more minutes. Like he played pretty extended. Like I think he played like 28. Like I wonder if they even end up going with him. Obviously they kind of switch off him and Gafford. But this Timberwolves team is so crazy because like they literally what Dallas is trying to do to them, that's what they just did to the Nuggets in the last series, and then lost 3 in a row and then won the last 2. So as much as it's so funny where as much as you're like, oh, like they can't lose this game, like they kind of just did like the reverse of it, and then we're like had their backs totally against the wall. A game 7 in Denver and won. This is a gritty team but that's also partly why I would back them tonight. Like they're just a team that I don't think it's gonna like. They're obviously it's game 1 not quitting on themselves, but I don't think they're gonna get down off like losing a game like that. Like I think we get like a resilient effort. I could see a big Anthony Edwards game today. That's kind of what I'm predicting. I like his over points. Like I said, I think Cat bounces back too. He's such a good shooter. Like I just find it highly unlikely that he's gonna shoot that poorly again.
Yeah.
The line for Anthony Edwards points is 27.5.
Great. In every series, he's had at least one 40-point game, and I think all the playoff series so far. I could see him having a big one tonight.
He might need to.
Makes sense. They're going to put him on his back.
He's going to get the minutes. But obviously, he's Anthony Edwards. But I mean, like, you need to win this game. They have to win this game. They cannot go on the road down 0-2.
And I think too much too. Like I think him just putting him on just man-to-man with Kyrie. Like I feel like with especially how well Kyrie was playing, you're putting him in a spot where he's going to focus so much like energy on defense. Where a guy like him, like let him obviously he's such a good defender, but like let him like get some time where he's kind of just guarding like the guy in the wing. Like let him hang out there so he can actually like have some gas, like just really like facilitate on offense.
Yeah. I got 2 more things. Hockey last night, I was locked in because of the Stars. I'm watching, you're down 2-1, you're like, fuck, it's going to end 2-1. The Stars get a little kickoff of a goal, and it hits. I'm describing that as bestly as I can. It was a kickoff, and he just pokes it in, okay? Like, whatever. He pokes it in 2-2. So now you're in that spot where, like, everybody's clenching their assholes. When I tell you, as a casual hockey guy, the rest of this night, there were so many close calls. I'm sure you can go to Barstool Gambling and see the different ones. Did you see the one where the Stars put it through the 5-hole, as they call it, and it hit the fucking post, or it hit the post and then went back through his legs? It was one of the two. That was nuts. The Oilers are dangling in front. They barely miss. He had a shot to lift it in. There were 4 or 5 different, like, close calls here. And then you come out, and I'm watching, and I'm like, all right, game 2, overtime 2 starts. You're like, all right, let's go. Let's do that thing where it's like, oh, the whole time with the close call. It ends in, like, the first minute. They score in the first minute. So the double overtime was like a complete, like, nothing. You know what I mean? Like, and then you don't get to watch the fun. But it was an unbelievable game. And now the Oilers steal one in Dallas. McJesus, McDavid. It just, from a casual, this is the stuff that goes on in hockey that is very entertaining at this time of year. Like, you could just watch the highlights and be like, all right, that's sport. You don't need to know much. It's put the net in the puck. Put the puck in the net. That's all you need to know.
Put the net in the puck, baby.
Put the net in the puck. I mean,
that's all you got to do.
That's our hockey analysis here.
Exactly.
Just put the net in the puck. Easy.
Put the net in the puck. Put the puck in the net. It was very entertaining. It was a very entertaining. I know you were probably flipping through, Ev. There was nothing else on.
So it was funny. So funny taking it in like real time, where there was like a 30-minute period where like people were just like shitting on McDavid for missing that chippy at the end of the first OT. And then he just scores the goal like 30 seconds or whatever it was into the next OT. So he just had like the ultimate like full circle of like, and he's also been labeled as the guy who like, he's like the like best player who like can't get over the hump, can't like win the big one, can't win a championship kind of thing, even though I feel like a lot of hot guys say he's like been the best guy for a few years. So it was such a funny like Twitter moment of everyone just been, oh my God, like how did he not score that? Like what the fuck? Like, and then literally over like the intermission in between, then a minute in, oh my God, McJesus, like he's the best. Exactly. What unbelievable. Just like it's just so funny just seeing that like play out, especially as like you said, like a casual hockey fan, just seeing it happen like over such like a short period of time.
Yeah. The Oilers win 3-2 in double overtime. I guess this is something too, not to understand hockey. Is hockey guys scoring hockey goals like crazy luck to you because they play 45 seconds at a time? Minute and a half. Like, imagine like your best players in football only play 2 plays of the.
But then why do the same guys lead the league in goals every year?
I know that's what's crazy. What?
There is a few people watching this that are diehard hockey fans that want to stick a needle through your eyeballs.
Agreed. Listen. I know I have no idea.
It's Gretzky just got lucky a lot.
He didn't get lucky.
Ovechkin is the luckiest man.
He did not get lucky, but it's crazy that he plays like a third of the game. That's fucking insane to me.
But it's like the same thing as football, where they say like it's like a 60-minute game, but like real like plays action. It's like 10 minutes.
But on a 10-play drive, Travis Kelce is coming out for maybe 1 play. So he played 90% of that drive on offensive snaps. Mahomes has the ability to play the whole game. It's just the subbing in hockey.
I get it.
I know. I get it. It takes a toll on your fucking body, but it's crazy. The subbing to me is fucking crazy.
Well, you just don't. Well, I mean, it's a different sport. You don't get to rest. Like in hockey, you don't get. There's never a point where you're just like hanging out.
Right. Pat Mahomes can sit down when the defense is out there. These guys,
like they're not, like it's just the way.
I guess the better comparison is basketball because you're playing 2 sides of it and it's constant flow. Yeah. But and skates take a toll on your body. But it's like, I don't know. It's one of those things that you look at Gretzky's time on the ice and it's like, how did he score a hat trick? It's not luck. It's just. It's crazy to me. I should have said crazy. It's more crazy
that
he was on the ice for 8 minutes.
What's like the average shift? It can't be. It's got to be a little more than 45 seconds.
I think it's. I
got to be like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. I would
maybe.
Like I said, there's another hockey guy that wants to stab me in the neck right now too.
Yeah. But it's not. It's not long. I mean, they are subbing rather quickly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I hope the Chicklets cut this segment and just mock us incessantly for a good
I
hour.
openly have I openly have, we don't fully know what we're saying.
Shit, Rico. That's pretty clear to everyone. We don't fully know anything.
Still crazy. It's still crazy to me that guys are not on the, you know what I mean? And I get why, but the fact that Gretzky and these guys and McDavid can score goals, it's almost, I guess, more impressive as well that they make the most of the opportunities while they're on the ice. I'll end it with that. It's super impressive that the best, like you said, the best goal scorers always find the opportunities when they are on the ice because they're not on the ice for a long period of time.
I let Bosco just compare Gretzky to like Mike Tolbert. He's like a short yardage running back. Just plug him in on the one, he just like punches it in.
Yeah. And then this I had. Well, we haven't touched on. I think the next one can go the longest, but we haven't touched on Scottie Scheffler, the video of the cop just absolutely just burying the window.
Crazy. It is.
And it's. I get how you think, but I guess I could see it from the cops thing to think that somebody disobeyed you and that just irritates the shit out of you. But
he pulled over.
I know. He pulled. I know.
Bosco, the report was that he got dragged by the car for 10 to 20 yards.
Yeah,
I know.
The cop was attached to the car. Was the report.
He fucking pounded on the window and said, "Get the fuck out of the car!" And threw him against and put him in cuffs.
I know. It's a lot. This story's getting crazier and crazier. And now he still has to go to court, from what I'm understanding. They still have to obviously do it. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, but they're going to dismiss it. I mean, it's the same. It's this. I wouldn't. It's like the whole. Obviously, cops have been targeted a lot in the last few years. Listen, it's the same. I wouldn't target all officers. I'm sure Scottie Scheffler wouldn't want if one guy in the tour did something stupid. It's not a reflection of him, obviously, but. Just to he basically, my understanding is that he either didn't wear his body cam or had it turned off or something during the exchange, which obviously, to me, that's red flag number one. And then obviously you see it from a distance and he's just, that's energy of a guy who just got bullied in high school and he got a badge on and was like, "Oh, I'm a big, tough guy. Let me throw number one golfer in the world around." When the guy's just he's in a marked vehicle. By the peak, driving, trying to get to the tournament. There was a tragedy that happened before that, and that's why there was all the police there and all that stuff already.
That's horrible.
Shout out, the guy was being a jerk off.
Quick shout out to Boston Fan Congress. I always wanted Pick Central to talk hockey. After today, please stop.
Yes.
So,
yes.
It's a fair point.
Related. Again, I'm very impressed with how much guys can do with how little. That's the real.
You just starting out and be like, these goal guys, they just get lucky.
It's not lucky. It's just
how do they do it? How do they just score so much?
They do the most with little. Let's just say that with the least amount of time. Let's say that. Okay,
Rico, you know what's nice? You're making dreams come true. You made that gentleman's dream come true today. You always want us to talk hockey?
Exactly. You always want to talk hockey. It was a great game. I like watching it. I won't understand it. But they make
that's very clear, Rico.
Hockey players make the most with the least. So shout out to them. And then the other one, I think this one's going to go for a while. The White Sox Orioles last night, the interference. It was as bad as it can get. So infield fly. Was it first and second, Clemmer?
First and second.
Yes.
First and second. The guy on second he has his lead. Is walking back. When I say leisurely, because the way you call infield fly, living in the house of an umpire, is immediately leave no doubt. If you know it's an infield fly, bat is out. You scream it. I've heard it a million times. And if anybody who doesn't do that is a weak ump. These guys are in the majors, I assume, and I'm sure he did that right away. So infield fly, he leisurely is walking back to second base, and it's Gunnar Henderson, right?
Yes.
Gunnar Henderson
Andrew Vaughn. Vaughn was on second base.
Vaughn was on second. Gunnar Henderson has to, when I say avoid him, he knows where the ball is. It's a fucking can of corn. He goes around him for maybe a half a second, the minorest inconvenience, catches the ball, and they're like, wait, what's going on? The inning's over. They've deemed it that Vaughn interfered with Gunnar Henderson. It's as bad as it gets.
I mean, I have an issue with it because I believe a runner has the right to a baseline. He needs to be able to move around. You can't restrict that. If anything, Gunnar went into his baseline. Now that's fair too. You have to be able to make the catch. But I was shocked that was the call. I wasn't watching it live, so I saw it afterwards. But I was shocked that that doesn't make. I've never seen this before. I don't think it was very bizarre. And the poor White Sox, man, talk about a team that could use any break they can get. They don't need to play with 26 outs. They need 29 outs. To try to win a baseball game. To take an out away like that, it was pretty bullshit. I don't know if it was unshow or what, but that seemed bizarre to me.
But even the theater of it too was 8-2. The White Sox score 4 runs with no outs. They make it 8-6, and there's the tying run is on first base with no outs.
The winning
so it was 8-2 entering the bottom of the ninth. So they scored 4 runs and then had 2 runners on base with no outs. They get an out on their own, and then that happens, and then that was the final play.
Yeah, you had the.
Vaughn literally took like 2 steps off the bag and immediately just came back. I don't know what possibly he could have done for that to not get called. Like, what could he have? That's what I was trying to think of when I watched. I was like, what could he have done differently to avoid this? Like, they're just stood on the bag the entire time. Like, literally.
And
he's
he was already off the bag, so now worry about getting doubled up. I know it's only about 5 feet, but he basically would have had to worry himself about getting doubled up. You're taught to get back to the bag.
No,
of course. And you're also he's not going to be tied to the bag before the pitch is the lead runner. So he's got to move a little bit to give the guy behind him some space. It was a bull. I mean, all right.
But the other problem with this too is that the ump doesn't have to answer to this. Now, I'm not saying he goes out there and has a massive press conference, but there's got to be some kind of ramifications here where
there are internally. He's hearing it today. I guarantee from Manfred or there's people inside that office. It used to be Joe Torre for a while. There's guys in that Major League Baseball office that are definitely he got a talking to last night. I promise you.
Yeah, he got a talking to.
It's not public.
Will there be public ridicule? Will they admit that they got it wrong? No, exactly. So like,
also, honestly, the sad truth is, no one will really give that much of a fuck because the White Sox got fucked.
Right.
If it was the other way around, it would have been a much bigger stink where the Orioles are like a legit playoff team.
Yes.
And you're talking wins, seeding, all that stuff. Like, it would have been a much bigger deal if it was somebody in a playoff position as arguably the worst team in baseball, where it's like, oh, like you're gonna have 100 losses. What's one more kind of thing?
Right.
So no one's gonna really care. Clemmer's right. Like, there'll be an internal thing, I'm sure, like amongst like Manfred, someone's gonna talk to. I'm gonna be like, yeah, what the fuck were you guys doing? But other than that, I don't think anything's really gonna happen.
Who's the White Sox manager? I think I saw Hubs do this. He didn't get his money's worth, did he?
Not really. Pedro Grifol, this guy might be the worst manager in all of baseball. He took over last year. They were atrocious from La Russa, and everyone made fun of La Russa. It was like La Russa's 1,000 years old. He at least got that team to 500. Grifol takes over. That team is abysmal. I put out a blog last week saying which manager should get fired or which manager do I think is going to get fired before the end of the year. Grifol was number 1 on my list. Like, the idea this guy should be like every day be like checking the pass key to make sure it still works before he gets in the stadium. Like, this guy is like this close, I think, to getting fired. He's an atrocious manager. You're right, Rico. He should have been pulling an Earl Weaver, kicking dirt, throwing bases. I would have been going ballistic.
I didn't give a fuck. Either his spirit's already been taken from managing these guys every fucking day, or he's just not cut that way. Maybe he still is like, oh, I want to have respect for the game. It's like, respect for the game, I get that, but like, you got fucked, bro. Like, you got hosed. So
he punted.
Right.
To not lose your mind in that spot, he doesn't care as much as he needs to. Clearly, I think his mindset was like, what's another loss?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that guy's like a zombie. Like, he knows he's fired already. Like, he's literally just like he's like in those Final Destination movies where like they survive but they know they got like a week to live. Like, Pedro Grifol driving to the stadium, he's like looking out for trucks with logs on them now. Like, he knows he's gone.
Yeah,
he's collecting a paycheck till he's not.
Absolutely bizarre situation. Bizarre. It's an old saying, like, you can if you pay attention in baseball, you're going to see something you never saw before on a field. That one I don't think I've ever seen. And shout out to the umps, because being a baseball umpire, I don't think either one of you will fight this, is the most difficult spot in all of sports. You have to know. You have to know.
Right.
You have to know every rule and every rule can come into play on every single play. In basketball, it's not going to work like that. The guys drip like it's not. You're not going to when you're down on the baseline. You cannot potentially get or two guys go up. You ain't getting backcourt. There's things that get ruled out as it goes. The crack of the bat, everything can fucking happen. Guys bumping into each other. Pads. Baseball has all sorts and has the quirkiest rules of all of them. Substitutions, different shit like that. Baseball has the craziest. So I give a lot of those guys credit, and I give them credit for knowing the rules, but bite your tongue just a little bit. He didn't interfere when it really comes down to it. You know what I mean? It was almost like he was
intent. Like intent matters. And in my opinion, Vaughn was not intending to get in the way of anything. He was simply going back to the base. And Rico, you're right about the rules. Everyone says baseball is a slow moving game. And they're right. It is more slow moving than hockey or basketball. But the second the ball hits that bat, it's actually a very fast moving game. The ball is incredibly fast. People are running. Things are happening very quickly. An umpire needs to make the decisions very quick. So you're right, Rico. They do deserve a lot of respect. But this guy completely shit the bed last night.
Yeah, it was almost like he was looking at like I know the rules, look at me. Whereas if the shortstop doesn't fucking complain and he makes the play, there's no issue. Gunnar Henderson was not complaining about it. Gunnar Henderson caught the ball and went, what?
Yeah. Oh, he was right. Usually when there's interference, the guy's like, what the fuck? Like,
exactly.
There was none of that. He caught the ball. It was just like, yeah.
It didn't even cross his mind.
No.
Right. And even before calling the interference, you could check with the other 6 umps on the field.
Yes.
Or 4 umps, however many there are. You
could check other 3 umps, but yes.
You could check with the other 3 umps on the field and see and go what's going on. Oh, you know why I'm getting thrown off? They have the baseline guys in the playoffs.
In the playoffs, you have the 2 guys on the right field and the left field.
Yeah. So you have the 4 ump crew. Like, check with. Hey, I'm about to do this. Like, you think and be like, Ev, that's a bad idea. You know, you can double check. Like, no one has to know what you're doing. You make the out call and then you can walk to one of your partners and be like, what do you think? And then later on, you could just be like, yeah, I was asking him if I had to tie my fucking shoe. Like, you could cover your ass. I don't know. It was a quick trigger. That was
especially there, too, because remember, at that point, there were only 2 outs. So it wasn't like the game is over and guys are running off the field. So you could easily have gotten the umps all together for a conference. On that, I don't know if the second base umpire was the crew chief or not. But I'm surprised if it was. I'm surprised the crew chief didn't jump in and be like, whoa, hold on a second, guys. What are we doing? But
yeah.
I feel like sometimes they always want to like protect the other guys.
They do. They want to protect the other guys, and I've heard that in terms of basketball with referees, where it's like, I can't blow through his zone, but it's like he's dead wrong. Or you have a veteran official, and they don't want to make the young guy look bad. Get it right is the most important thing. You show me more when you get it right. Yes, they do want to protect their guys. That's 100% a good point.
It's nonsense. I mean, just call the game right. Like, I just feel like there is a. I bet like there has to be some human element to it of like that mixed with like almost like they're not saying this in like when they huddle up, they're not all saying this. I imagine they get mic'd, they get fucked for it. But they're thinking like it's the White Sox. You called it, fuck them, game's over. Like I feel like there has to be as like just simple as that sounds, I feel like there has to be like a little like psychological element to it in there.
Well, Ev, you got to figure that 9th inning went forever, right? So maybe they had like dinner reservations. And they're like,
100%.
Let's go. We got to make our dinner. Interference. Let's go. Let's get a nice steak, boys.
Yeah. I don't think that's the case, but
I don't think so either, but that makes a lot more sense than calling interference when the guy didn't interfere.
I don't think it gets vocalized, but there's just a little small part of your brain back here that's like, I was supposed to meet the wife in an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
The White Sox are 12 and 1,000. Fuck.
Right. Good point.
Game's over.
It's a good point.
He made the call. Like,
it's a good point. It's a good point. Let's go picks now. And then you guys, if you have anything to close it out, I'll give you what I got. I got the D-backs money line. I got Gallon strikeouts, Gallon over 18.5 outs, Gallon to get a win, and then a parlay D-backs money line and over 5.5 strikeouts for Gallon is plus 146. Listen, I know you're putting all your eggs in one basket. He's lights out. He's lights out at home. Memorial Day weekend. I feel like that crowd will be a little bit turned up, and he's playing the Marlins. So now it's a double win for me when we can go get that horrific Marlins lineup. I think he goes after it. He had 10 strikeouts in his last outing, pretty sure with Gallon. He's starting to feel it. I think he's better at home. He goes and gets it. I'm very, very concerned. We need a Mets rain out next Thursday, guys, because he's slated for next Thursday, and I'll be coming back from New Mexico. I want to go see this guy pitch. That game, we need some rain in New York City. You may not have to pray for me to win in New Mexico or whatever, but I want to go see him on next Friday night. So live. I would really like to see that. So we're going to need a rain out because he's slated now for next Thursday against the Mets, and I just can't make it. So Ev, you'd go with. I'd ask you to go with me, obviously. You should be rooting for it too. Or you're gonna park your ass there Thursday night and be like, "Hey, sorry you missed it."
I might have to because I'm also. I mean, it's Gallon Day. Diamondbacks -1.5 plus 110 on the card. Over 9 in the Brewers Red Sox. I'm also gonna. What else did I have? I had the over in Philly and Phillies Rockies. I mean, the Phillies have just been mashing that lineup in Colorado. It's over 10.5. Give it to me. I said I'm on the Timberwolves -5. Anthony Edwards over points, and I'm gonna take Towns over points too. I think they both have big bounce back games.
Yeah,
27.5 and 20.5.
Rico, you don't think Zach Gallen's better at home? It's true.
It is. Yeah.
So my pick of the day is the Diamondbacks' first 5 innings up half a run. It's -130. Zach Gallen has a 1.52 ERA at home this year. If you go back to last year, he has a 2.29 ERA since the last year at home. That's incredible. Current Marlins are batting 139 against Gallen. It's in 36 at bats, but still 139. What are we doing? Marlins on the road are hitting 219 with a 337 slugging. So I like the play a lot. I'm high on Gallen today as well. My other picks, like I said, Celtics are -7. I grabbed that. That early win promo is still on DraftKings. It's awesome. If you're up 2 runs, you instantly win. I'm on the Cubs today. Shota's pitching. Let's go. And that guy's incredible. And Miles Mikolas pitching for the Cardinals. He can give up some runs. So, and the Cubs are the road team. So you can get that. You can win that in the first inning. They're up 2-0. I'm on the Orioles. -1.5 in the first 7 innings. I got Corbin Burns going against that dead White Sox team we just talked about. And that's what I got. But yeah, Rico, I love the Gallen plays. If Gallen at home is Logan Webb at home and Zach Gallen at home, and I guess Shota now, you got to say, are the 3 guys that are borderline unhittable in that situation.
I'm going to get in on that early win with you. I'm looking for it for the Cubs. I like that as well.
But yeah, on the Cardinals, obviously, right, against on the Cubs against the Cardinals.
Early win, opt-in, Cubs, and you've been taking away teams, which I like too. It's only -155. I'll get in on that.
Yeah, it was 148 when I got it. Is a little juicy, but you get Shota.
Fine. It's fine. You don't need to win. You're not watching a full game. You can win both ways.
You can win before the Cardinals even come to the plate.
Yeah. Anything else you guys have to kind of close it out?
No, what are you guys doing for Memorial Day? What are the big plans? What's going on? Let's go.
Much.
Let's talk weekends.
Little cleaning, little lawn care.
Cleaning with the mop? Get the mop out?
Little cleaning, little clean. We could. It's hardwood. It's not hardwood down here. It's tile, so it could use a mopping. Maybe we'll do that.
No one's better than you.
Probably hit a pool. I think I got a party tonight. Low key, but yeah, Memorial Day weekend is no longer what it used to be. Like we would have done this show in 6 minutes, and I'd be racing down the turnpike to somebody's house and like post up. What are we doing? Happy hour. It's a different time now. It's a different time, but it's a good time as well. So,
Sam, I didn't miss going on the shore for like a decade plus. Last couple I haven't went. Just best friend that had the shore house, popped a couple babies out.
Yep.
Number 2's here. Not really doing that thing anymore. I went for probably 10 plus years straight. Then it was, I don't even remember, 2 years, was it 2 years ago with torrential downpour? That was during COVID, didn't go that year. I think, didn't go the last couple years either. Not going this year. Go home, pool.
What do you think? I think I'm going to write this.
And some babies.
I think I'll write this blog, probably try to put it up by tomorrow morning. I actually think Memorial Day weekend of the 3 holiday weekends in the summer is the worst.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I don't think it's close.
Yeah.
I don't think it's close.
The weather is the iffiest.
You get bad weather.
Yeah.
July 4th is the best, clearly. I mean, I don't know how you can even argue anything else.
No, you can't.
Labor Day is great. Labor Day.
Labor Day, we got college football.
To me, Labor Day is like Labor Day, like football's on.
Yes.
Like I'm already in like football mode. Like to me, like summer's sacred. Like summer's
Plus
summer.
Memorial. I mean, you
Football,
got
like,
Memorial Day weekend. You got lines and lines of people like craving for the summer. You know, like I just think it's a little bit of a. Plus the weather sucks. More often than not, it's worse. I actually think Memorial Day is a distant third in terms of the 3 holiday weekends.
Can I defend Memorial Day real quick? So Labor
Because
Day
you're also it's still school. Like when let's say you're a teacher, like you ain't off yet for the summer. You're still working. You're still going. You're still in school, you know?
And like we kind of are, like, as much as this is a job, but like, you know, we like my June, like our Junes are crazy. We're putting together the calendar. Right. This summer, even when I was working in sales, like the summer really didn't really kick in until July 4th. But I will say Memorial Day, you're very optimistic. Summer starting. I always have a twinge of sadness for Labor Day, even though we all love football. Yes. Football's awesome. But it's like, oh, man, it's over. Like, you only get 80 summers, right? It's like, oh, man, one more is gone. Like, there is an element of, like, I get kind of bummed out on Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, I wrote that long blog about the radio and listening to the CBS FM. Like, that, It was a little dim. It was a lot of fun, but there is something a little dim when you're watching the neighbor pack up the fucking patio set.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, there is something a little – that's why I think you could make a case of a toss-up between Memorial Day and Labor Day. 4th of July is like you're laughing at anyone who tries to put it in its case. It's like the Celtics right now. Like the Knicks and Pacers in that war. Oh, one of them could test, the Celtics. No, not really. Like 4th of July, we run shit. And this year, 4th of July is on the best day of the week. This is not a bit. 4th of July is on the best day of the week. I think 4th of July on a Thursday is king, if you ask me.
Oh,
King.
When you're in like the corporate world,
not even to be debated. You have a half day Wednesday if you're doing it right.
Right.
So you're partying. There were nights that partied Wednesday night, partied Thursday all day. Friday, if your job makes you come in on Friday or you didn't take that day off early, you're an idiot. So Friday you're off, Saturday you're off, Sunday you're off. There's an old saying down the shore. They would he goes, Frank, you know what the best part of the weekend is? Nobody knows what fucking day it is. You've been down there since Wednesday. High noon's flowing, Pink Whitney flowing, all over the place. You could, truthfully, like gun to head, at some point in a haze, Saturday or Sunday, be like, Ev, what day is it? You'd be like, I don't know. Know.
It's that amazing because it hits you like Friday. You've already been on like a 2-day bender.
Yep.
Everything, and you're like Friday. You're like, oh my god, I thought it was Sunday. And it's just
there's an
Friday.
Old saying, you know how you have
been on a bender, and now the weekend's starting.
Yes.
Now it's Friday.
There's an old saying, you know how you know you have a great life if you don't know what day it is, because you have no you can. That's true freedom. When you don't know what day it is, you are living the ultimate life.
Well, I would give just one caveat to that. At the end of Jaws, they don't know what day it is, and they just survived a shark attack.
But they survived. Imagine that.
Not everybody. Yeah, I guess. Not everybody, if you don't know what day it is had a good life. I'm sure there's guys in solitary who don't know what day it is either. But for the most part, yeah, I think that's like the old.
But I did know what day it was.
That's like the old Adam Carolla bit, like rich man, poor man, like a hot tub. Like it's what is his bit? He says like wearing a bathrobe. It's like either you're really rich or you're really poor. It's like a hot tub. You can look either like trash or you can like be like high class. He does a bit like that. I think that's not knowing what day it is either really good or really bad.
That's true. That's a good point, Rico.
You're either so rich you have to worry about it, or you're just unemployed and
exactly.
You have nothing going on in your life at all.
Google his bit. He does. It's pretty good with what he's doing with that. I just had one final idea too. I don't want to say there's sports going on. You obviously have the playoffs, but I think the casual fan might not tune in as much on Memorial Day weekend. I just had some ideas. If you put this on in the middle of the day before the games, like the big games at night, you know what I mean? That's why we always kind of look in on lacrosse, because there's nothing going on Monday. And they don't do a good job with baseball. They don't put enough day games in baseball. They screwed that up with 4th of July. So it depends on the schedule. But yes or no, if they put this on ESPN at some point this weekend, you wouldn't be watching. Kickball, cornhole, or softball. You told me that there was a high-level softball fucking game between just regular guys or some kind of like league I'm watching that game.
I'm probably not.
Just try it out. You're not saying, all right, you're getting ready for the beach. It's 10 o'clock in the morning. They put on a high-level softball game or something where it's some kind of wacky league or it's kickball. You're telling me you're not tuning into that?
You know what I'm doing, Rico? In the summer, it's big music. Like good vibes. So I'm like blaring music. I got the summer playlist working. My mood in the summer is so much. I'm such a better like person to be around in the summer. So I see what you're saying, Rico. I completely understand the point. But I'm just like, let's have fun.
Yeah, it's like the one day here we're like outside.
Agreed. But at 9 o'clock, you wake up at 9. You wake up at 9 a.m. You don't have to go to work. You roll over. You're like, all right, immediately put on ESPN. You put on ESPN. You're not watching that for like 5-10 minutes. I think they should have.
Sure.
Exactly.
Sure.
The final thought.
I'll humor you. Sure.
It's a final thought. I also think.
I watched James Johnson from South Dakota hit like a 500-foot home run with a softball.
Yeah. I also think it becomes more fun if those guys are putting in their own purse. Like every player is putting up $1,000 and the winning team takes home $20,000. I think that's fun too. I don't know how we get that set up, but I'd love to see that. Or to a random league in Ohio kicking off their rec league, beer league softball season, and the two teams in Ohio hate each other. They've alternated championships for the last 5 years. I'd watch that. Put that on fucking ESPN at 10 a.m.
But see, Bosco, you're saying this, I'd rather just play beer league with Artie Lang.
Yeah, that's a good point too.
I'd rather just.
It's something like It's Always Sunny. Just like a good vibe show. Let's go.
Exactly.
I thought you were going for a second. I thought you were about to basically say like a TBT, but for men's softball.
I do think there's a market.
Imagine the best, you just took the best, just washout MLB players, college players, and just made teams. And the winning softball team gets $1 million.
Yeah.
A bunch of accountants and shit.
Bro, that would be fucking insane.
Just recruiting. That guy. I mean, he's a rival accounting firm, but you hear he used to hit for Hofstra. He used to hit a couple of dingers at Hofstra, and this is maybe we could use a little pop in the lineup.
Exactly. I do think there's a market for that. So enjoy the weekend.
One last rant about kind of what you said earlier about the baseball schedule. You're absolutely right. By the way, there's only 11 games on Memorial Day, so that means that 8 teams have it off, which is idiotic, totally stupid. There's only 3 games before 4 o'clock. What are we doing? Baseball would say, we have to help, for kids. This is everyone's home. And I think Memorial Day, the weather's a little iffy in some of the Northeast. Have these games on so people have something to watch. What are we doing, baseball?
No, they fuck it up. 4th of July, I'm thinking you're probably going to get less day. That's a getaway day, though, but it might be a weekend series.
Figure it out.
Yeah, it's bad, man. It's bad. The day games, they don't know what they're doing with that. So
more day games.
Be responsible this weekend. Take a cab. Do the right thing. Enjoy it. And we'll give you some winners. We'll be back on Tuesday. Enjoy Memorial Day weekend. This is Pick6 Central. We'll take it easy.